The coolest psycho-spiritual chats I've ever had have always been in coffee shops around London, around the world. And I don't know, something about the ambience of a coffee house gets the best out of me, so I've come down here to record this. So join me for a coffee and let's have a little chat about how meditation gives you superpowers. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't mean firing lightning bolts from your eyes or being able to move objects with the power of your mind or open Doctor Strange portals into another dimension. Actually, you can open Doctor Strange portals to another dimension. Scratch that from the list. You can actually do that. Just not in the way that you think. Your body can't go, your mind can. We'll do a little video on astral projection, what it actually is. But for now, meditation gives you abilities. It gives you the power to do things that you can't do without it. Therefore, it gives you superpowers. As far as I'm concerned, not objective superpowers that you can demonstrate. I can't make this cup float. I can't read your mind. I can create the illusion of those things, but I can't actually do it. That's bullshit. It doesn't give you any objective powers, powers that other people can witness, but it does give you subjective ones that are as good as any superpower that any superhero's got. Even if you're just starting out, the ability to be able to drop a negative thought is... As someone who, in his youth, before all this, if a negative thought occurred, he believed that's what it was and then would live in it for months, years. The ability to know that that negative thought is not who you are, it's just an occurring, a happening in the pattern. And the ability to be able to release that immediately is invaluable. To not spiral, to not go into that state where you get negative and that negative state affects how you look at absolutely everything, but to be able to catch that at the point of inception and turn it off and redirect the mind in a more wholesome direction is invaluable. Some are born with this, some aren't. Anyone can cultivate it, and the keys are in the practices of meditation, concentration and open awareness. Those two things give you so much. Concentration and then open awareness, those two things give you so much. The superpower of being able to find joy independent of conditions, independent of what's happening around you, to be in any situation, but to know that if at any point you can literally excuse yourself, shut a door, close your eyes and enter a state of bliss for respite, to recharge the batteries, or just for its own sake. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. The ability to just bliss out. Especially when you travel, as I do. I'm all over the world. That's why the channel's so irregular. I'm everywhere all at once. And time zones, countries, everything else. And if I identify with what's happening around me, I burn out, I'm exhausted. If I identify with the awareness in which that's happening, it flows through me. And jet lag passes faster than it does for most people. And I avoid going into a negative state of total exhaustion. And meditation gives me the ability to relax into awareness pretty much at any point. I don't live there. I wish I did. People say they do. I believe it's possible. I'm not there. I'm like you. I'm not a spiritual teacher. I'm sharing stuff. But I'm in the next best place in that I have studied these things. I do these practices and I can turn it on when I need to. It does inform everything. Regular practice is the key. Regular practice is the key. You can't just meditate once and that's you. If you're practicing every day, 20 minutes on the breath, 20 minutes on what's arising in your awareness, that builds the muscle, it builds the various neural connections and enables you to do that. There seems to be two schools around at the moment. There's the non-dual school of it's just grace, it just happens. There's nothing you can do, nothing's happening, nothing exists anyway, it's all made up. And you're lucky if you get the hit. I don't care for that or the people that talk about it because it's elitism. It's, I've got it, you haven't. Maybe God will give it to you. Go fuck off. But the other schools where you actually attain it, there's something you can do, there's a meditation you can engage with that will take you to a certain point, and then you drop that meditation. There's another practice takes you to the next. Eventually you see that the practices are just boats to get you across the river, you arrive on the other side, then you drop the boats, but you can attain it. It's something you can do to make the accident of enlightenment more lucky. Meditation is that thing, and I prefer that to sitting around and waiting, because even if it doesn't give you the ultimate enlightenment, the things I've mentioned already that you pick up along the way are worth the endeavour. Invaluable to be able to release negative thoughts, invaluable to have presence, invaluable to be able to push a button and turn on joy, because you've done the Bhama Viharas, you've done the loving kindness stuff, the metta stuff, and it's all there. and you can tune back into it. It's well worth the investment, is what I'm saying to you. The time investment. It also improves magic, if you're into magic, as I am. And just to be clear, when I refer to magic, I don't mean the something for nothing school of self-help where you just sit and imagine a thing and it just happens. Though, weirdly, those kind of coincidences do speed up when you're a regular meditator. When you're out of the forebrain, you're out of chatter, and you're spending more of your time in pure awareness with what is. You're taking in an awful lot more. So those mystical coincidences do tend to speed up. There's more of them. I don't see them as mystical. I see them as a function of the nervous system. You're noticing more. You're tuned in to what is, and but it feels mystical. This is what I mean by objective versus subjective. Objectively, nothing's, to anyone looking from the outside in, nothing's happening. You're just getting luckier, or you're just getting better at your job, or whatever it is. But to you, subjectively, you are getting luckier. You are getting better at your job. But to you, it can feel quite magical. It can feel like, oh, I'm just programming the universe. Maybe you are. I don't know if you're not. Maybe you are. But for pragmatic reasons, I prefer to interpret it as a nervous system function, you know? Though I've got my suspicions about the simulation theory. I've got my suspicions. Seriously, some stuff happens that's too weird, you know, when you tune in. So, as a method for attaining peace, as a method for attaining enlightenment, as a method for developing compassion, connection, being kind to oneself, meditation is absolutely first class. Vipassana, Samatha, Anapanasati, these schools, the Taoist schools as well, I can recommend to you. That's what we get into around here. I talk a lot about the Taoist schools, some of the Buddhist schools. Not an expert, but well practiced. Not a teacher, just sharing experiences. But it also gives you power. Power over what? Over a trained mind. Power over the mind. Power over self. And power over self is power over everything, because then, when you're in control of yourself, whatever happens, you can deal with. You can bring yourself to a point and focus on what you need to do next, and that's literally all you need to do. Everything else is imagination. And then the next thing. You can get yourself out of the future where there is calamity. You can get yourself out of the past where there is regret, and be here now with what is doing what you're doing. You can release negativity. You can cultivate positivity. You can do all these wonderful things. And the thing that gives you these powers is meditation. Simple as that. Training the mind.